On the ground. We should be on the
I
ground.
should-
Why
I
should
I should have
I
dabbed.
don't know.
Is dab played out? Can I dab?
No, dab has never played out. Achoo, bless you, man. Hot dog, man. Okay, so Three Crafty Bastards, we're back. B. Smith to my right.
The news.
And to my left,
Mr. Classic.
Mr. Classic's going to bring some, I'm assuming, sports knowledge to you.
Here's the thing. I can do a lot more than sports, but since sports is such a neglected issue.
I get it. I get it.
Here's the thing. You know, I'm a Mets fan. Mets are clawing back into the wild card hunt. We may or may not get it. Doesn't matter. I'm excited. They won a bunch of games. But here's football season's coming. And with football season comes fantasy football. Whoa.
Damn it.
Fantasy football. That is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
I wouldn't
It's time. It is its era. It's time of year where you evaluate players, you evaluate teams, you get together, you have your parties. But I'm in the winners bracket.
So that's why this means so much.
It means a lot because I feel like I'm pretty good at it. But here's the funny thing. I'm in a draft on Labor Day. There's 2 drafts. I won one league and I was the worst in the other. But I brought home a lot of hardware.
Nice.
It was the Toilet Bowl trophy and the Super Bowl trophy all in the same arm.
So how did you score so great in one and so horribly in the other?
I can't even tell you. But this is going to be season 2 of that triumph or untriumph for the Toilet Bowl. I don't want that one on.
Gotcha.
However, it's coming up, and you know a lot of people have already drafted. So if you look at professional leagues, they've already done mock drafts. I did 2 mock drafts a couple days ago, which I'll talk about in a second. But you look at these professional leagues, they try to tell you where you draft. And I have a disagreement with them all the time. They tell you that you don't have to draft a quarterback until such and such rounds. This person's going to last with this round. Go grab some players on this round. Like, when you get into a draft, all rules are off.
Right.
So when you think you're going to get Tom Brady in the 6th round or so-and-so in this round, this running back here and that, it don't happen like that because you're going to get somebody. Sometimes it might be me this year, jumps the gun on a player, and it just jacks up everyone's draft. It jacks up their whole draft strategy because you're like, that's not supposed to happen. You don't take a tight end in the 3rd round. I'm like, oh yeah.
Is that one of the more enjoyable experiences? Is messing up someone else's draft?
Absolutely.
I bet.
Absolutely, because the air leaves the room almost.
It's not about
I did a draft and we had some kids in this draft, and you know, kids love their players, man. This is when Peyton Manning went number 1 overall. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to draft anymore.
Right.
It was that dramatic.
You should really change up that Joker quote too. It's not about the trophy; it's about sending a message.
Right. So a lot of drafts are going to be coming up. I did 2 mock drafts. The leagues that I'm in have 10-team drafts, and I did a mock draft of 10 players. The first draft I did, believe this or not, Tom Brady did not get drafted.
Really?
I could not believe it. My quarterbacks I drafted in a mock draft, I had Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger. Tom Brady did not get drafted. I could not. After I was looking through the list, like, what in the world? So we're doing a 10-team draft. There's a possibility of leaving a lot of stock on the shelf.
Sure.
Because you know there's a good crop of rookies that you got to dig through. Players who've gone from one team to another. You got players who are holding out for bigger contracts now. There's so much going on.
Zeke.
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
There's so many players in with how's Le'Veon Bell going to do it with the Jets? So there's so much player movement, players that are out, players that are in.
Antonio Brown. Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't draft Antonio Brown.
But someone's going to draft him.
Of course they will.
In the 1st or 2nd round. He'll be gone 1st or 2nd round. Nick Foles going to Jacksonville.
I feel like he is a 3rd or 4th round draft.
He won't go that high.
You don't think so?
No.
Huh.
Daniel Jones was, I think, the first quarterback taken in the draft. Am I wrong? I might be. But anyway, Daniel Jones was taken by the New York Giants. And they were like,
Is that the guy from Duke?
yep.
Wow.
Why would you take him over Dwayne Haskins? But the kid in preseason has been money.
Right.
16 out of 19 completed, like 200-something yards, couple touchdowns, no picks. He looks like Tom Brady.
Right.
So there's a lot going on. The second year for the Browns with Baker Mayfield. They got Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. They stole Kareem Hunt from when he got suspended from the league. So he's going to be suspended for, I think, 6 or 8 games.
Right.
But then they have him coming back to play with Nick Chubb, who's really good. So watch out for the Browns. They were 7 or 8 wins last year.
They were on the cusp of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Had they beat the Steelers, they would have been in. The Steelers would have been out.
So there's...
The Steelers would have been out. Let me.
That was a personal message.
Let me
Put the pillow in front of your face before
let me
you
just
get
go
hit.
ahead and say that had the Browns beat the Steelers last week of the season, last year,
Because didn't they tie?
yes, the Browns would have been in and the Steelers would have been out.
Yeah.
The Steelers, who have dominated that conference,
Yeah.
almost lost their playoff spot to the
To
Browns.
the Browns. So,
I just had to get that off my chest.
so
Okay.
the Browns...
So that's what you're gonna do tonight. You're gonna fight tonight. All right, got it.
So-
nah.
So the
Should
Browns
just
are...
punch in and be over.
The Browns are going to be playoff contenders this year with what they've got. They've got a good defense, good offense.
They're projected to win that conference. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to jinx them, but I'm
actually,
rooting for them.
we were projected to win the conference, and that was provided, we, as in the Eagles, that was provided that Zeke was going to play and Dak got his money. So, Zeke is a holdout.
Yep.
Dak got his money, though.
He ain't paid yet.
Well, they're working
You know
on
who they paid today?
it. Who?
Our local talent,
Smith?
Jalen Smith,
Really?
got a contract extension. I don't know if it was 5 or 6 years, $65 million,
He's a
$35 million
monster,
guaranteed.
though.
$35 million guaranteed. That's a Lures graduate.
Yeah.
Bishop Lures.
He's a monster, though.
He's great, man. But his senior season at Notre Dame could have been a career-ending knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys took him anyway, let him sit for that year, and he's a beast.
Yeah.
So, big ups to Jalen Smith. A little shout out to Jalen Smith. I wish he would watch.
Dude.
5 years.
I used to work with
Thanks,
a guy.
Moses.
I worked with a guy that it was so stupid. Apparently, he is like distantly related to Jalen Smith,
Mhm.
and so anytime you said anything to him, like, "Hey man, what are you gonna have for lunch today, Jalen Smith?" I was like, I asked him. I had a jacket exactly like his, only mine was Aeropostale and his was Adidas, but it was like the same coat. I'm like, dude, that's a cool coat. I got one just like that. Where'd you get that, Jalen Smith?
Wow.
I was like, what?
It's
like- He was like, Jalen Smith. I was like, is that a store? Or I knew who Jalen Smith was. I was just being an asshole about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is that a store? Or he's like, nah, Jalen Smith, that's my cousin.
Wow.
I was like, oh, cool. I'm related to Cher.
Right.
And he just looked at me and I was like, you know?
Well, going back to fantasy football, my main advice for any fantasy football player is to be your own hero.
Right.
That means make your own decisions. It's okay to look at who's ranked where, but eventually make your own team and take your own advice. Because a lot of people look at fantasy experts, and that fantasy expert stuff, they're just like we are, man. They watch. You can watch as much football as they watch if you want to, but they're not setting your lineup. They're not betting your money.
You think over analyzing it sets a lot of people up for failure during fantasy football season?
I think it does, and this is what happens. You'll have, let's say, I'm going to make up a name. Robert Johnson goes off as a quarterback, goes for 400 yards. No, let me take that back. Let's do running back. He gets 150 yards rushing, 22 carries, gets another 50 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. The next week, go get Robert Johnson on your roster. That's the
Right.
first thing you do. And then you go drop Le'Veon Bell, pick up Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson either turns back to regular person. You didn't drop Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
Don't do that, man. People do that all the time, and I'm there to vulture all your mistakes. I'm just letting you know. I will vulture all
He's
your mistakes.
hungry and he's circling.
I will do it each and every time. I will watch for your mistakes. And I will take advantage of them and upgrade my roster, which is why in one league I've been in the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, and I've won 2 of them.
Are you talking a little smack to?
I am not. He's not in
Beaver?
those. I'm not. He's not in those leagues.
Okay.
But
It's not. It's
Alright.
not talking smack.
it's
It's true.
just a little advice. It's just a little advice.
Right.
If you do, Moses, play some fantasy football. Be your own hero. Don't take all these other people's advice. Do your own research.
Sneak dissing.
I'm not sneak dissing Kenny, but whoever dummy
That
drops
is
players,
awesome.
whoever drops dumb players, players should pick up dumb players. I will be there. Just let you know.
Nice.
So that's all I have for just fantasy football. Like I said, it's coming up.
So, I mean, obviously you're gonna follow up on this, right?
Oh yeah,
Because we need to know who you've drafted.
we're
in your
drafting Labor
draft.
Day.
For both
Both of those leagues. I'll probably do a Yahoo or some other league. I almost want to do a 12-team league because that's why they're a little more competitive.
Right.
Because there's a lot of players left on the table out of 10 team. So there's going to be people who want to take the sexy picks like Miles Sanders is
Right.
going to be a sexy draft pick.
Dude, yes.
But he's playing along Jordan Howard. Who's going to
It's a 2 running back tandem.
So, but they're thinking Miles has the advantage over Jordan Howard. But Jordan Howard's been
got
there.
the hands.
So I'm just saying, there's going to be people that do that. Like I said, I'll be there. I'll be there for your mistakes.
Very nice. Anything else to add?
Dude, I promise you, I could be here for hours because I did all my research.
Okay,
We
so
should-
Corey, do you have anything else to add?
We could
Sports.
we could
About.
do a straight. Well, we or I could do a straight 1 hour segment on fantasy football.
And I feel like you shall have your day.
One day that would be so fun.
You shall have your day.
because
Let's do it.
I've done so much research on players that I like, and like I said, I've done mock drafts already, and the players that are left, unbelievable. When you do a 10-team draft, there is so much talent left on the waiver wire that if you make a mistake on somebody just as good is still waiting on the waiver wire. You can trade them and get somebody else.
Right.
12-team, more challenging.
Right. Because there's a lot less players left over.
The
I
pool
say-
is thinner.
I say
Right.
at the end of the season, you give them the explanation of how you kicked everybody's asses.
I say Labor Day, we talk about the teams that you drafted.
Okay.
We need to cover that. Because,
fun.
like,
This
I
is-
tried to play
this is
last
why
year,
I
and I
kicked
just
your
don't have
ass.
the attention span for it.
You're
Like-
too busy at work.
I'm way too busy to do Fantasy League.
To me, this fantasy league is work.
Nah, I'm busy doing work.
If I got paid for this, I swear that if all I had to do was watch football and stats all day long, that would be ideal for me.
I feel like we should explore that possibility.
Let's do that.
All
We
right.
start a fantasy league football brewery, and
Not-
that's what we go in.
Dude, seriously? Okay.
You know how
on
much
that
money that
note-
would make?
I'm
Whoa,
sorry,
whoa,
we
whoa,
did not mean to
before
say
somebody,
that.
Before somebody
We didn't
steals
mean
our
to. We
idea,
didn't mean to.
for 3 crafty bastards, I'm B. Smith.
Mr. Classic.
Get off the camera! Cut! Very nice.
Oh my god.